Hey, brothers and sisters, welcome to the channel and welcome to yet another conference. I hope you all are doing well out there. Well, as for me, I'm out here in nature, um, looking at the little birds and all of that. It's a very beautiful day. It's very nice out here too. But I just wanted to come on with another word, of course, a word of encouragement, maybe something that I say and convey in my conference will aid and assist someone out there that may be under a lot of spiritual warfare, or if not under a lot of spiritual warfare, you may just be somewhere stuck on a fork in the road or something like that, and maybe something that I say, something that I convey in my messages will help you get over that hump, because I believe that we all face forks in the road, and we all have seasons where you feel like there's a hump that you have to get over, and you will, but you just kind of feel like you need that little extra nudge or that little extra push. Well, I'm here to give you that, okay? And I know that I spend a lot of time trying to assist and aid other people, and it just seems like my attention is just solely directed on aiding humanity. And yeah, that is true. That is true, because I've always been that type of person that tried to help people. And even as far as me having my conferences and things, throughout my entire life, I've always been the type of person that other people would come to for advice, in various workplaces, or whatever. People have always, all my life, all through my 20s, when I was in my 20s, people would come to me and they would confide in me about things, or if somebody was doing something to them that was unfair, they would come and confide in me about it. And, as if to say, they confided in me like there was something that I could do about it. Even though there may not have been, I would give them an encouraging word, and, I'm sure, and try to tell them how to handle the situation. And I've always been, I don't know, people just have always felt comfortable talking to me, and I think it's because they knew that I had a loyal spirit, and that, I wasn't going to go back and tell anybody what they said. And I'm not that type of person. I just don't do things like that. If a person thinks enough of you to come to you and share their secrets with you, it would be a very dirty thing to go and tell other people, because that's somebody that respects you. That's somebody that looks at you a certain way. So, why would you ever want to lose that respect? But I got to tell you, I live my life. I feel like Father is trying to get me and other people to live our lives to where you're private, but you're still open books. Because I think that we all are. I think everybody on earth is an open book. Well, because other people can open their eyes and look your direction and see you. But I think that He wants you to be invincible, inconquerable, if that's a word, unconquerable. I feel like it's very important for Father that we be like Jesus, unstoppable, unmovable, unbreakable, untouchable. And I think that He does that by way of spiritual warfare. Well, I don't know. For some reason, I want to share it with you all. Right now, I'm on a platform. And I'm on a platform, and it looks like a little stage-looking area. And I don't know if it's the Spirit of the Lord that has led me out here or not, but it looks like a little stage area. And all around me are outlets. There's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 outlets, I think, that I've counted. And it is like a little stage platform, and it has a ceiling over me. And I think that this is where events are held. But that's where I am right now. I won't convey my exact location, but I'm standing on a platform right now, so holding this conference. And I don't know if this is Father's way of conditioning me, or I don't understand this. I honestly don't. I decided to just do a conference. And somehow my steps were ordered, and I came into the realization, look where I'm standing. I'm actually standing on something that looks like a stage. And I didn't do it deliberately, but it's where I am. I can't convey, like I said, exactly where I am, because when I do my conferences, I don't like to tell people where I am and the different locations I'm at. But I'm actually standing somewhere where if there could be chairs and things placed, and I could be in a stage-like setting. So that's where I'm talking from right now. So I don't know, maybe Father led me out here for a reason. But anyway, I just want to share that with you guys. I just felt the urge to. But anyway, yeah, I've always been the type of person that always tried to make myself available to other people, even if it was people that I was blood related to, if it was people that at the time I considered family members. I've always been a very giving type person. If I went somewhere shopping and I bought myself some jewelry, I would buy somebody that I was related to jewelry. If I don't know, I've just always been a very giving type of person. It's just my nature. It's not that I'm trying to have people look at me any type of way. It's just who I am. And I feel like that I, as many of you, have been dealt a very dirty hand in life. Father knows how I feel about this. Many of you know how you feel about the hands that you all have been dealt. The people that you've married, the people that, pretty much hated you guys, low-key. Low-key hated you guys. And you all may have known it at the time, but you didn't know to what extent and what depth, and you didn't know to what extremes people would go to try to destroy you all. And I got to tell you that for the people that were my enemies all my life, I never had any idea that I had such a impact or a negative impact in people's lives, though I be a positive person. And by negative impact, it's not that I'm a negative person or that I give out negative energy, but that I am viewed in such a negative way, though I be a very positive person. But you can only be viewed in a negative way by people when you are positive, by people that are they themselves are negative, and they see you as something negative because you reflect off to them who they will never be, but who they want to be. Because I've just come to the full determination and understanding that pretty much, I would say 99.9% of everybody that I've had around me throughout my life has been jealous of me in some way, shape, or form about something. There was some attribute, there was something about me that they resented, and that's jealousy. And that's what I feel like a lot of you need to come to the determination of, is that people don't hate you for no reason. People don't like you for no reason. There is something that they see in you, around you, or about you that they cannot stand. They know what it is. You may know what it is, but it's not your fault that you are you. And I think that's what I need to talk about in today's conference. It is not your fault that you are you. You keep on doing you and being you in spite of it all. And I got to tell you, like I said, I often say that Jesus Christ sees the play out, the layout before the play out. But I gotta tell you, and I think that can make a lot of people angry. And somebody may say, well, what do you mean that can make a lot of people angry? I think it can make a lot of people angry because, they'll question God as to why they had to be brought up around the type of people that they were brought up around, or why they had to be around, attend public high school around the type of people that you all attended public high school with, or attended college with, or in the workplaces, and see, the workplaces are open field. That's like an open game right there, because you cannot control who your employer decides to hire. The only thing that you can do is choose to mingle or stay away. And when you find that somebody's character is not in sync with your own, you have to stay away, because you can only get in where you fit in. But there's and that's something that you can control, because if you don't like your workplaces, you can just quit, or you could just resign, or give them your 2 weeks notice and go somewhere else. But as it pertains to you coming into this world and the type of people that are in your bloodline, that's something that you don't have control over. And as far as the type of people that you all fall in love with, you don't have control over that either. And the reason why I say you don't have control over that is because your heart is almost like a separate entity with a mind of its own that tells you who it wants to love. And your actions will follow. And I got to tell you, for many of you, I think that this is a season for self-reflection for all of you. I would say that for those of you that are not self-reflecting, I would say do so. I would say self-reflect and look at every trick of the enemy. Look at every trap of the enemy. Look at every pitfall, every scheme, every foe, every down low hidden foe, meaning they hated you on the low. Look at every scheme, how people were scheming around you all your lives and interconnecting with other people and you didn't even know. And I don't mean like presently. I'm talking about even way back in your childhoods, even back in your teenage lives. You know, people who did not have your best interests at heart. They knew that you were slow to the game because you were just children. You were just teenagers, and you didn't know to what extent and what depth people would go to try to destroy you or to try to uproot your lives or prevent you all from reaching your destinies. You know, like I said, for many of you, a lot of you grew up on the streets. You know, a lot of you got kicked out of your homes when you were young. A lot of you never had homes. You grew up in orphanages. You grew up, a lot of you didn't even grow up with your parents. You grew up in with your relatives, or either you grew up at your friends' parents' homes maybe, or some of you may have just, you know, been blown in the wind all your lives. You know, so you've never had a stable foundation. You've never had a covering. You've never had anybody in your lives that really, really cared about you all and your well-being. You had a lot of great pretenders, you know, and even for those of you that may have had one or two, maybe three people that cared about you, it seems like that those are the ones that leave this world before the others. Oh, I'm talking to somebody out there today. A lot of you, you don't have anybody. Your mama was your backbone for a lot of you fellas out there. Your dads were your backbone for a lot of you sisters out there, or vice versa, however your stories go. And now you're living in a world where you don't have anybody. So now you may be married to people, you may be dating people or have hookups with people, and they don't quite feel the shoes of the person or the people that you knew genuinely loved you that are not in this world anymore. And a lot of you out there, you're just blowing in the wind. You don't know which way to go. You can't even find a friend. You can't find anybody that you can trust. You can't find anybody that you can confide in. There's nobody out there that's trustworthy. There's nobody out there worthy of being your confidant. And then you got people standing up in your face telling you, oh, well, you know, you need to trust Jesus and you need to do this and that and the third, you know. And some people may see me as one of those types of people, but I got to tell you, it's the truth. It's the truth. And I'm not in no way saying that in a disrespectful manner toward Jesus, but I'm just saying a lot of you, let's just face it, you're tired of hearing that from various speakers. And the reason why you're tired of hearing that is because you feel like no matter how much you trust Jesus, that you cannot set the record straight. Am I talking to somebody out there? You cannot set your injustices to justice mode. You cannot foresee the unforeseen. So a lot of you are saying, why are you talking to me about God that allowed me to be born into a world where I'm completely surrounded by my enemies, whether in my bloodline or not, where you are completely surrounded by foes and adversaries. And if you had one friend, that person isn't even alive anymore. A lot of you are fed up with God. Let's just keep it real. That's why a lot of people don't like to hear preaching. A lot of people, you know, a lot of preachers, I feel like, they may think that people don't like them, but it may not be that they got a bone to pick with you. They got a bone to pick with who you talking about. Can I talk out here? Can I talk out here? They got a bone to pick with who you're talking about because who you're talking about may have allowed them to get molested. Oh, I'm talking what's real out here today. Who you're talking about may have allowed them to marry the wrong person. Who you're talking about may have allowed them to be born into a toxic bloodline where everybody, it seemed like, was jealous of them and tried to set them up and wish them ill will. Who you're talking about may have allowed them to grow up in orphanages and on the streets, and the only way they could cope was to get on drugs. Who you're talking about brought them to this hellhole we call planet Earth. So a lot of times for a lot of speakers, it may not be that people necessarily hate you or got a problem with you. They got a bone to pick with the one you're talking about, and that's God Almighty. They got a bone to pick with God, because God allowed them to be molested. God allowed many of them out there to be raped, tormented, tortured, kidnapped, sold in the black market. They got a problem with God allowing evil on them when they didn't even ask to come here. That's who they got a problem with. And if they are honest with themselves, if everybody on the face of this planet is honest with themselves, that's their testimony. You know why people don't say it? They are afraid. First of all, they're afraid of how other people are going to look at them. And then they are afraid, first and foremost, of God Almighty taking their lives and throwing them into hell for speaking their truth, for speaking how they feel, for sharing what's in their hearts, their minds, their souls, for telling God why they're walking around on this planet so angry and with grudges on their shoulder and they hate everybody. Do you really hate everybody? Or is the one you're angry with God Almighty? That attitude that you got toward people you don't even know, is that attitude really for them? Did they do something to you? Or do you feel like God did something to you? Humanity's problem and attitude and bad disposition and bad personality, a lot of that comes from your bone to pick with God Almighty. And we're going to keep it real out here today. Now, I'm walking this stage and this platform out here for some reason. I don't know. It's like Father ordered my steps out here. And I'm getting a word out here today. And I'm actually on a stage-like platform right now, surrounded by outlets. And I'm going to tell you something, It's time for the truth to go forward. The people out here, you're angry because you feel like God sent you the wrong husband. God sent you the wrong wife. For those of you out there, if your children, for that people that have been killed by their children, if they could come back, they would say God sent them the wrong children. There have been people that have been murdered by their own children. There have been women out there that carried for 9 months their murderer. Men that fathered their own murderers. Women that married their murderers. Men that married their murderers. There are people out there that married people that hated them. Dated people that hated them. Slept with people that hated them. Got pregnant by people that hated them. Pregnated people that hated them. And you didn't even know it. But God did. And that's why the bone that you got to pick is with Him. Oh, I'm talking to somebody today. And I feel presences around me. I don't know what this is all about today. I don't even know why God got me out here doing this. But I'm not out here alone. I can feel it. I can feel it. And as I'm talking, all the hairs went up on both of my arms. Because I feel like that today is time for us to step in God's court. And I feel like we got a right to say, why me? Why us? If you know everything and we know you do, why the serpent in the garden in the first place? Yeah, we understand the testing of Adam and Eve. But if you created them in perfection, why not just leave them in perfection without testing them? Why was that such an issue? If you knew that who Lucifer was when he got kicked out of heaven, why not just destroy him on the spot? Don't even give him the opportunity to mislead Adam and Eve. Creating Adam and Eve in Satan's face made Satan jealous. It made Satan jealous because God was creating something that was the exact replica in form of himself. Without being God, you look like God. Without being God, you talk like God. Without being God, you were beautiful like God. And that's why the punishment is the curse of aging, because aging desires to steal your natural beauty, your zest, your physical appearance. Age threatens, aging beyond what you were supposed to threatens to steal your natural beauty. And that's why people fight to hold on to it. And they do plastic surgery and dye their hair and do all of this. Because aging beyond what you're supposed to is not only a curse, but it's a thief. That is the result of Adam listening to a thief. Satan, the devil. For the thief cometh not but for to what? Steal and to kill and to destroy. So he wanted to steal humanity's beauty. He wanted to steal humanity's opportunity to fall in love and live in a beautiful place. and have a spouse that is loyal to you and loves you, and and there's excuse me, there's no need to protect you because there was no threat other than the devil, and he would not have even been there had Adam took authority. So yeah, humanity has a bone to pick with you, Father, today. Now I'm talking to Father, because humanity wants to know why. Why me? And I feel like Father God is saying, I'm God. I am that I am. I can do as I please, when I please, what I please. And that is not God trying to hurt our feelings or be mean to us. But that's God saying, in other words, my thoughts are not your thoughts. And neither are our ways his ways. He don't think like us. He don't operate like us. He just says, have faith. Follow me blindly. In so many words. And that's why we walk by faith and not by sight. And I got to say that let me tell you, a lot of you out there, I keep it real with Father, and that's why I'm able to conversate with him back and forth like I do. Let me tell you something. Many of you out there, you have a right to be as angry as you are. You have a right. You have a right. And I'm not saying that you're not responsible for your choices as far as who you marry, who you date. But you have a right to be angry about how you were treated by somebody that had ill intent against you all from the very beginning, from the very start. All of humanity has been set up by something, somebody that was out of the demonic realm. Yeah, I believe that. If you've ever been in a relationship and it didn't work out, I don't care who you are. I believe I can boldly say today that the devil set you up. And somebody may say, well, how can you make that statement about everybody? Well, did the relationship work out? All right, then. Well, then evidently there was some interference that worked against it. Unless it was a bad relationship and God Almighty stepped in and he intervened. But other than that, yeah. Because the devil didn't want your relationships to work out. He hates unions. And he definitely hates divine unions, of course. Because a divine union, I feel like, has a certain type of love that the world don't understand. It's different because it's divine. And a lot of you out there, you might have divine marriages, you know. And I'm sure you're under the heaviest warfare. It's like your marriage is under heavier attack than anybody else's. You look at other married couples and they might be having trouble. But they ain't having the type of trouble you and your wife are having. You and your husband are having. Why? Because your marriage is divine. It's holy. It's special. It's beautiful. It's glowing in the realm of the spirit. It's beautiful. Gorgeous. It's not perfect, no. But it's gorgeous. It may carry a certain essence that marriages that are not divine do not possess. So the enemy's going to fight you and your wife a little bit harder because he don't want y'all together. Because he knows y'all are one. You two separate people, but you're one. So he'll bring problems and conflicts to your marriage. And then he'll take the problems and the conflicts you all had before your marriages and he'll try to throw that in the midst too. Next thing you know, both of y'all being bombarded by stuff that happened to you all as individuals and then happened to you all as you came into union. And as individuals, I mean even before you even met. Because we were all under demonic attacks I'm not married. I'm not married, no. But I'm talking about for you all out there that are married. A lot of you were under demonic attack before you married that person, and then you experienced further attack. So now you feel like, my gosh, it just seems like when you got married, the gates of hell opened up a little bit wider. You might be right. You might be right. Because the God of this world, little g, is Satan, the devil. And so now there may be people out there that want to know, well, why we got to suffer for what Adam did. Oh, I'm talking out here today. And I know I can't cram everything into one conference, but I'm getting stuff right here on this platform that I don't even get when I go other places to film. I might start coming out here more often. Why do we have to suffer for what Adam did? Why didn't we have a say in our own lives, our own existence? Well, because we are creations. We're not the creator. A lot of you out there, you're upset by the type of men that Father allowed to come into your lives. And then you got people standing in your face where you the one married him. You the one decided to date him. You the one. Let me tell you, know what? I can't stand people like that. You know why? Because I don't know of one snake that approached a woman looking like a snake, sounding like a lion, fire breathing like a dragon. No, the devil will always approach you on his best behavior. You're not supposed to know it's a setup. You're not even supposed to know that the people around you just might be a part of the setup. Can I talk out here today? Because even looking back over my own life, I can remember that the individual that Satan sent towards me, there was somebody that I was hanging out with at the time, and that the person that asked me out was hanging out at the time. I learned or came to the knowledge of that the person that I was hanging out with asked that person, have you got it yet? And sisters, y'all know what I'm talking about. Brothers, y'all know what I'm talking about. Have you got it yet? Meaning, have you had sex with her yet? Am I talking to somebody out there? Now, I'm going, and I shared that with you all because I'm going to direct this towards you young ladies out there. And by you young ladies, I'm talking about women that are teenagers, young women that are teenagers, young women that are in their 20s, young women that are in their 30s, young women that are in their 40s, young women that are in their 50s, young women that are in their 60s, young women that are in their 70s, young women that are in their 80s, young women that are in their 90s, young women that are even 100 years old. Now, I know somebody, I went deep. Somebody said, no, what you talking about? You know, we ain't young women no more. Really? We're spirits. Only the body ages. Are you your body, and is your body you? And God breathed into Adam's nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. We only age because we're in this earth realm. Our bodies age. But we're all spirits. I believe that if we could all step out of these bodies, we all look the same. Aging is a thing of this world, not the next world. Okay? But this message is for all young women. Now I'm talking to your spirit. I'm not talking to the aging flesh. Can I talk out here? So all you young women out there, those of you that are trapped right now in aging bodies that you will exit one day. And if you die in the Lord, you'll get back into a new, young, glorified body. I'm talking to y'all young ladies out there. Let me tell you something. My God, this is going too deep for me. I don't even know where I'm going with it. Let me tell you. There was an orchestration around your lives when you were very, very young girls in your flesh age. That means your bodies were young. Because you're still you. I don't care how old that body gets. You are still you. You're still spirits. Okay? And there was an orchestration around you all. As far as the men that you met, same thing for you fellas, the women that you met. I believe a lot of you out there got hung up with people that we know the devil was behind the scheme, but it quite possibly could have been other folks too. And a lot of you right now today, as I walk around on this platform, you don't even know it. I believe a lot of people have gone to their graves and didn't know that the wrong person that they ended up with was sent to them, perhaps not only by the devil, but there could have been other people working behind the scenes that just wanted that person destroyed. So they sent towards them somebody that was a destroyer. Am I talking out here today? So that's why I say I believe that for most people, everybody on this earth, you don't understand that when you came to this planet, you came here under a demonic orchestration around you. And by that I mean, when you came here, there was a demonic orchestration formed around you. Whether if it be through your bloodlines, the people that you all thought were your friends, the people that you all thought were your girlfriends, the people that you all thought were your boyfriends, or the people that you all married. It was a demonic orchestration. Come on now. Free your minds. Free your minds. You were under attack in your mother's womb. There are people that had it in for you when you were in your mother's womb, because for a lot of you, your fathers didn't even want you. For a lot of you, your mothers didn't even want you. For a lot of you, your families didn't even want you. So there was already a demonic orchestration around many of you. That's the reason why a lot of you grew up in orphanages. Why? Because your parents did not want you. So you were brought into this world by way of that vessel. That was God's way of getting you here. But once you got here, you didn't know there was a further demonic orchestration around you. That things were orchestrated around you for you to fall under attack, for you to fail, for you not to succeed. Your whole life has been a controlled experiment. That's what I'm trying to say today on this platform. Your entire lives have been a controlled experiment. There's nothing that has happened in your life that was not predestined. That's what I'm saying. The people you met, the people you loved, the people you lost, the people that hurt you all, the people that disrespected you all of that was part of God's divine plan. So like I said, so now that you know this, humanity has a bone to pick with Father. And humanity is asking, I believe, why me? And they don't want to hear, well, because I knew that you had what it took. People don't want to hear that. I'm being real today. A lot of people, they can't be real when it pertains to God. And that's why he can't deal with them. God deals with the real because he's a real God. If you got a problem with God, you need to take it to him. You don't need to take it to your preacher. You don't need to take it to your teacher. You need to take it to the one you got the problem with. You don't need no middleman. You take it to God Almighty. Because in all honesty, none of us asked to come here to this hellhole. Let's just keep it real. Yes, there may be beautiful scenery and there may be beautiful spots you can go on vacation and visit in the world. But we are on something that is suspended in thin air in the middle of space that we did not ask to come to. We came to a battlefield full of serpents, full of snakes, full of dragons, full of wickedness and evil, and a devil in the midst that's trying to steal, kill, and destroy. I feel like that humanity has a right to be angry. That young girl out there, that young girl, that you didn't have a father to protect you from a pedophile, or you didn't have a father to come to the door to meet that young man that wanted to take you out on a date or wanted to involve himself with you. You didn't have a father to come to the door and say, let me check you out first, because I don't know if you good enough for my daughter. I don't know if, for you young man out there, you didn't have a father to teach you, don't run with them boys. They ain't going to do nothing but lead you to your destruction. They're going to lead you to jail. They're going to lead you to prison or the graveyard. You didn't have a father to be a man, to be a dad to you. You're angry about that. And you take your anger out on other people. That's why you treat women the way that you do, because you're really mad at your daddy. You mad at your daddy. And if you're honest with yourself and they get your tough, want to be bad butt in a room by yourself and you get to talking to the right one, you're going to break down in tears and start crying. And you're going to ask yourself, why didn't your dad love you? Why didn't your dad want you? I'm talking to a young man out there today. Whether if you be a teenager in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Remember now, I'm talking to your spirits today. I'm not talking to your flesh. I'm not talking to the age and flesh. I'm talking to you, you young man that's 40 years old. And you grew up in an orphanage. You married the wrong woman. You didn't have a dad there to tell you she ain't nothing but a hoe. She's a hoe. Don't marry that slut. You didn't have a dad to tell you I'm from the old school, man. You better listen to me. You better do what I say. I'm not trying to run your life. I'm just trying to spare your life. Having good parents is important. It is so important. So there are those of you out there, you young folks out there of every age, you young folks out there that are in the nursing homes, you young folks out there, and I'm talking to your spirits now, I'm not talking to your aging bodies. A lot of you out there say, oh, if I only had, not been raised in this orphanage, if only I had a mom, if only I had a dad, you wouldn't have ended up on the streets in Hollywood on drugs. Chasing a dream that won't nothing but a pipe dream. Chasing lies and deceptions. Not even knowing that what the people who have made it in Hollywood had to go through to get that fame and that success. They pretty much had to sell their souls to the devil. And if they don't worship the devil, I don't mean in that way, by selling their souls, this is what I mean. A lot of them had to indulge in things just to eat. Just to get a dollar bill to eat. They had to sell a little part of themselves in order to survive in a world that they didn't ask to come to. They got a bone to pick with God, I believe. You want to know how a lot of people probably end up in Satanism and witchcraft and voodoo and black magic? They hate God. They say they don't want nothing to do with a God that would give them a life like that. That would bring them to a world to only have their purpose be to walk in deviltry, to walk among devils, to walk among thieves, to walk among people that want to kill, steal, kill, and destroy them. They would say they don't want nothing to do with the God that would bring them here to go through that. Like I said, humanity's got a bone to pick with God. Have you told them all about it? And no, you cannot change the fact that Father brought you here. You can't change who you married. You can't change anything about the past, because the past is the past, which means the past really don't have no substance. The only thing that gives the past substance is when you cannot step out of it. Because now when you can't step out of the bad things that happened to you all in your past, all you're doing is inviting demonic entities to come and sit around you and talk to you about what the devil did to you. Oh my God, am I talking to somebody out there today? Somebody's going to be set free and delivered today. For you young girls out there that you feel like, well, you do. You feel you're trapped in a situation where you have to sell your bodies to have money to eat, to buy clothes, to have a roof over your head. And I'm not going to call nobody out. But I'm going to share this. And I don't know people anyway like that, but I'm going to share this with you all. I'm a highly discerning person. And I see things in people. When I'm out and about, I could be anywhere. I could be in a store. I could be whatever. And I could see some young ladies. And I can tell by the way they're dressed. And by the way they look. I could tell by the broken, how their countenances look broken. The broken expressions on their countenances. I can tell. They're trapped in prostitution. I know what I'm talking about. Because when I look at them, I think they know I can tell. They won't make eye contact with me because they are ashamed. Like it's almost like it's almost like a communication from them to me. Like, I know you know about me, and this is making me upset right now. It's making me upset because they have fathers biologically, and they have mothers biologically. And the thing about it is, their mothers are probably walking in their shoes. That's why they can't help them. And their fathers don't love them. And their fathers don't want them. So they are falling prey to men that want to use and abuse their bodies sexually. But if you don't give me none, I ain't going to give you this $20. If you don't give me none, I'm going to kick you out of this house. If you don't go out there and sell it for me, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to beat you. Girl, you ain't nothing without me. I made you. I own you. Ain't that how the devil talk? Oh, I'm going to talk this thing out today. Don't ask me where these downloads coming from. Father is giving me stuff on this platform right here that I don't get when I talk in other places. I'm telling you now. Like I said, I think I'm going to start coming out here more often on this stage, on this platform. And that's who the devil is. People want to know why so many of these young girls don't mind exposing their bodies. Because somebody else exposed their bodies before they did. It's a self-esteem thing. They feel dirty. They feel used. They feel exposed. They feel like, well, you know, that person didn't respect me. And now they feel like they can't respect themselves. Because they feel tainted. Because they've been robbed of their virginities. And even if they didn't know anything about saving it for the marital union, they wanted to save it for that special someone. That one special man that did love them, that was in love with them, that they felt would protect them. What young girl wouldn't want that? That's the dream you're fed when you get to planet Earth, is that there's always Mr. Right. Let me tell y'all something about Mr. Right. Mr. Right must be somewhere in a coma. Mr. Right, I see more Mr. Wrongs than Mr. Right. Mr. Wrong must have killed Mr. Right and disposed of his body, because I just don't see him out here. I just don't see him for nobody. I'm not saying that there's not good men on this planet. There've got to be a few somewhere. But I'm just saying this whole myth, Mr. Right. Well, where is he at then? Where is he at? Somewhere asleep under a tree? Somewhere lost in the Grand Canyon, can't get out? Somewhere in a dark pit, waiting for somebody to walk by and pull him out? Where is Mr. Right? Because see, when you come to this planet, you're fed a pipe dream. This planet ain't nothing but war. I know what I'm talking about. Somebody might say, "Oh, you're trying to give people a dark perspective on life." And no, I'm on that real today. This planet is a hellhole. You come here running off of your imagination and what you think is going to be, but that ain't what it's going to be. I know what I'm talking about. The dream is better than the reality as it pertains to planet Earth. Humanity got a bone to pick with God today. Because you feel like God sold you a dream. Can I talk this thing out today? You feel like even as it pertains to heaven and the kingdom of God, you feel like the Bible's selling you a dream. A lot of you feel like it can't be a place that good. It can't be a place that beautiful. But I got to tell you today, y'all, the deceiver is the devil, not God. So whether if humanity got an issue with God or not, and most people do, I got to tell you, let God be true, but every man a liar. God is not a man that he should lie. What God says is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And what the devil says is a lie, a whole lie, and nothing but a lie. Satan is the father of lies. He's a liar, straight out of the pit of hell. He's the reason why this world is the way it is. He's the reason why people are depressed, oppressed, let down, disappointed, hate other people. It's the devil. It's the devil. That's exactly who it is. It is the devil. But he don't want you to know it. The only thing the devil wants you to do is shift the blame on God. Point the finger at God. But God the one brought you here. You didn't ask to come here. God brought you here. He knew what kind of planet this was. He knew what type of bloodline it was. He knew them folks was toxic. He knew they was this. He knew that. He knew that. For many of you, he knew they was going to be jealous of you and set you up and orchestrate this and orchestrate that. He knew. Of course God knew. And the devil knew too. That's why he took advantage and did things to you and then tried to make it look like God did it. God didn't do it. God allowed it. But the devil did it. But he wants you mad at God because God allowed it, young man, young woman. So now you got a bone to pick with God. A lot of you fellas out there, you probably saying, well, if I had to come to this planet, Why did I have to come through a mama and a daddy like that? Now, y'all don't be out there laughing at me, mocking y'all. I ain't trying to be funny, okay? But some of y'all out there, come on, brothers. Let's just keep it real. We've got a world that is full of hurting young men. I can see it in them. I can see it in them. I don't have to say a word. But because they are males, they've been taught, you can't show your emotion. You got to be strong. You got to be a man. A man can't cry. A man can't break down. A man can't scream and wail like a woman. Oh, yes, a man can. Why? Because a man is still a human being. A man is still a person. A man is still somebody that God Almighty loves. The only difference between a man and a woman is gender. You are still a human being. You still have a heart. You still have feelings. You still have emotions. And you have a right to be angry. You have a right to be angry at your earthly father if he was not there for you to be a father. You have a right to be mad at your earthly mother if she was not there to be a mother. You have a right. And you have a right to go to God Almighty, I feel, and tell him you didn't ask to come here. So what's up with that? And you have a right to seek some answers. And then we got people out here to say, well, don't question God. Why not? Where is it written in the Holy Scriptures you ain't supposed to question God? That's just something the old folks say. Because, we've been taught to have a reverence for God and to fear God. But I got questions for God. I don't know about y'all, and I ain't trying to tell y'all to be like me, but I got questions for him. Because I want to know why. About a lot of things. As it pertains to humanity. I want to know why bad people get sent to good people. I want to know why good people marry bad people. I want to know why. Women marry men that became their rapists. Men date women that became their murderers. I got a lot of questions for Father. Why we live in a world where so much hate is allowed. People hate people because of their sexual orientation. There are people out there that people hate because they're in what people call same-sex marriages and unions. And people hate them because they have emotions and feelings towards people that they didn't choose to have. God Almighty brought them here. People don't choose who they fall in love with. And for people who live those types of lifestyles, they don't have the answers. The only thing they'll tell people is, well, God made me this way. And then they'll have people that are not that way tell them, no, God didn't make you that way. You lying. God didn't make you that way. You chose. You know what? I look at this. I don't judge nobody. Now, I do accept the word of God, but I don't judge nobody as far as this goes. And this is what I mean. When somebody tells me who they are, I believe them. When somebody tells me why they are the way that they are, I believe them. When somebody tells me that they didn't choose who they fell in love with, I believe them. Why do I believe them? Because I know too many straight people. I know too many heterosexual people that have fallen in love with the wrong person of the opposite sex. And they definitely did not choose to fall in love with that person. That is a choice that their hearts made for them. And they followed their hearts like everybody else does on earth. There are a lot of unions in this world that are not divine, that the Holy Scriptures would speak against. And a lot of them are not same-sex unions. Am I talking out here today? I told y'all I'm being given stuff that I'm not giving when I talk in other places. Now I accept the full word of God and what his standards are and everything. But the only thing I'm saying is for people who are carrying the burden of what their hearts want, despite what the Holy Scriptures command, pray for them. Love them, embrace them, and cut them some slack. Because God Almighty is judge and jury, not humanity. The Holy Scriptures tell us to judge not that ye be not judged. For however you judge somebody, you will be judged by that same measure. We are to pray for one another and counsel one another and be there for one another, not pass judgment on one another. Because the Holy Scriptures tell me that all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. And he that is without sin cast the first stone. And unless you yourselves are walking in a state of perfection, you don't have a right to cast a stone at anybody else that was created in their imperfection. Unless you are God Almighty in Jesus Christ, you don't have a right to condemn other people. You don't have that right. But you do have a right to pray for them and to love them and embrace them and not abuse them for being born in the same world under the same hellish conditions that you as a heterosexual person were born into. Because you didn't choose who you fell in love with, and they didn't choose who they fell in love with. See, matters of the heart belong to God Almighty. The Bible tells us that the Lord pondereth the heart. Nobody chooses who they fall in love with. There are many of you out there that hate you all fell in love with the people that you fell in love with, because I tell you what, a lot of people, they married them. And now those people, their bodies are in the cemetery. And I'm going all across the board now. I'm interconnecting everything to everything. So like I said, I believe humanity has a bone to pick with God. Why me? You're saying. Somebody out there today is saying, why me? You want to know why a lot of these young men are killing each other out there? Somebody gonna say, it's the devil, they wicked, yes, they are wicked, yeah. But do you want to know what the underlying issue is? These young men are hurt. Especially these out there that are born in the ghetto and impoverished conditions. They are angry, they are full of rage. And there's nobody to take their anger out on but each other. So instead of loving and embracing each other, they hate and murder each other, because you can only give to your brother what you've given to yourself. And you can only pour out of yourself to your brother and your sister what you have within yourself. Am I talking to somebody out there today? So if you are filled with hate in your heart because of your living conditions, and your father's not being there for you, and your mother's being strung out and selling their bodies on the street, and you have internalized all that anger and within yourself, and now you just a walking, living, breathing ball of hate that want to go out and kill somebody. Let me tell you something, my brother. I guarantee you I can sit you down in a room where it's just me and you, and I guarantee you that by the time I get through talking to you, you'll be there in tears crying like a baby. By the time the Holy Spirit get done with you, you'll be in there crying like a baby. All that hate that you got will be poured up out of you. Because what I would get to is the real issue that lies within you. The real reason why you want to go out and kill somebody. Why you hate everybody. Why you cuss so much. You know, everybody is, I'm a killer MF for this, and I'm a killer MF for that, and, you know, hey, this and that and the third. All of that comes from somewhere. It comes from hurt. It comes from hurt. It comes from how you grew up, where you grew up, who you grew up around. It comes from friends that have betrayed you, or friends that have been murdered right in front of you. You saw them lying on the concrete with blood running out of their bodies. That traumatized you, made you angry. Now you want to go seek revenge on the fellas that killed them. And it's just building up more and more and more hate. And you don't want to hear nothing about God. You don't want to hear nothing about God because all you know is the streets. For all you know, God put you on the streets. You have no direction. You have no structure. You don't even have anybody that really loves you. You don't trust nobody, and the ones that you did trust, they stabbed you in the back, and then you had to go through time, and when you got, and nobody, then you really found out you didn't have no friends when you got in there. Then you had to fight like a dog to try to protect and keep your manhood once you got in there from other men that are just as damaged and hurt as you are. And it's like a never-ending cycle. Like I said, humanity got a bone to pick with God. You didn't ask to come here. You didn't ask for the hands that you were dealt, the people that you were dealt, the bloodlines that you were dealt. Because I don't care what nobody say. I know every bloodline on this planet is corrupt. But you have people that come out of those bloodlines that are not corrupt. Every bloodline on earth is corrupt because everybody on earth is corrupt until God cleans them up. Can I talk this thing out? Because sin produces corruption. And so since we were all born with the seed of sin, and when that seed is nurtured, it grows, which is the physical manifestations of sin. That's how people fall into sinful activities, such as stealing, robbing, killing, fornication, adultery, jealousy, envy, backbiting, being two-faced, and so forth and so on. Y'all know what sin is. I ain't got to go down the list. And then as a result of that sin comes other sins. And it's just a never-ending cycle. And humanity is saying, I didn't ask for none of this. I didn't ask for none of this. You come here as babies. You sin as babies. And I don't mean a little baby infant. I'm talking spiritual now. This is what I'm trying to say. I know I'm going a little deep. Y'all might not understand. That person that committed adultery, that person that committed fornication, that person that stole, that person that killed, that person that, what else people do out there? Some of everything. Whatever happened. The baby part of you. That's the baby part of you. That's the baby. People may say, what do you mean by baby? Because that's the part of you that didn't know no better. Little baby. Little one. Father calls you beloved ones because he loves you. He's saying, I love you. I don't care what you did. I love you. I don't care who you are. I love you. I don't care who you killed. I love you. I don't care who you stole from. I love you. I don't care who you slept with. I love you. I don't care who you cheated on. I love you. I don't care who you committed adultery with. I love you. I don't care who you jealous of. I love you. I don't care who you set up. I love you. I don't care what you did. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. But Father knows you still got a bone to pick with him. His babies, regardless of your age, you've got a bone to pick with Daddy. He understands. He knows. Trust me, he knows. I believe the old folks probably used to say, and I know it was in a song, you'll understand it better by and by. Somebody might say, well, where's the by and by? Because right now, unless you can reverse this earth, where's the by and by? The by and by is on the other side sometimes. When you get to the other side, you'll understand it. When you shed this fleshly vessel that we're in, you'll understand it on the other side. You're babies. We're all babies. When you're walking in error and walking in sin, you're babies. You don't know no better. You're babies. A baby can't take care of himself or herself. A baby can't feed themselves. A baby can't guide and protect themselves. That's why children need guidance, protection, love, affection, direction. Because when they don't have that, they make unwise decisions. Why? Because they don't know no better. That's why. And I'm not excusing sin or anything like that, but come on now. You were babies. You young girls out there in particular. You sold your bodies to men for money. You're babies. A lot of you really are babies. You're babies. You didn't know any better. Or if you knew any better, your circumstances didn't allow you to choose any better. You're babies. Victims to existence. Brought here by a God you've never seen. You don't even know. And you're saying to that same God, perhaps today, why me? Why me? You want to know why you didn't meet Mr. Right. You want to know why your husband was not your first, young lady. And for a lot of you fellas out there, y'all too macho to admit it, but some of y'all feel the same way. You wish you had found the right woman, and she had been your first, your one, and your only. With all the hookers and the hoe bass and the sluts and skeezers that you have run across and run through, that didn't love you, and hoodwinked and bamboozled you and tricked you out of all your money, and made fools out of you all. You wish you had met that one right woman. So now you might have a bone to pick with God. And that's why you don't want to hear about God. You're angry with him. Humanity. You're angry with God. You're angry because you lost your mamas and your daddies. You lost your friends. You lost your husbands and your wives. For a lot of you, you lost your children. For you women that have miscarried, you lost your babies. You're angry with God. You're angry. Some of you out there are suicidal. You want to take your own lives, but you're scared of going to hell. Because you've been taught that self-murder leads to hell. I'll just say we don't know where people go when they die. But it's not a chance you want to take. But I know this much. I know there are a lot of people that people think are in hell, but they're not there. Rest assured. There are a lot of people that people think went to hell. They ain't in hell. They may say, well, how do you know? Don't worry about how I know. There's no way in the world I believe that there are a lot of people that people thought went to hell are actually there. And vice versa. There are a lot of people that people think went to heaven that are not there. So the other side is God's business. And so is this side. And we can kind of make a judgment call on this side because we can see with our eyes and hear with our ears. But as it pertains to the other side, the invisible realm that we cannot see, even though it may be around us, we can't really see the activities of what's going on. We can't see where people that you love who have died, we can't see them walking in the spirit realm on the other side. Leave that up to God. Leave that up to God. God knows where they are. He knows how they're doing. He knows everything. Leave it up to God. Yes, you may miss them. But maybe he missed them a little more. And maybe that's why they're not here anymore. Have you ever thought of that? All right, now. Comfort yourself with those words. Now, I'm going to go and I think and shut this conference out. I know I've gone all around the board, and y'all know how I do. I can, I just don't stick to one topic in my conferences. I have to interconnect other things. And it's not that I'm sitting here trying to think up anything. I speak whatever it just comes naturally to me to say. And I got to say, since I've been on this platform, hey, I don't know if it expanded my mind or what, but I mean, I touched on a lot of things that I didn't even think to say in other locations that I'm at. Because I can only speak in anointed environments, if that makes sense. And I think there are people out there that are speakers for the Lord. You know what I'm talking about. You can only speak in anointed environments. That's the reason why I think it's very important. I think probably even what a lot of speakers do, especially if they're speaking the word of God, they'll go. I believe they go and cleanse the auditoriums that they speak in to get the spirits out that oppose God, so that when they come in with God's word, there are no demonic interferences on a spiritual tip and a spiritual level. Now, those that are speakers for the Lord, you'll know what they know what I'm talking about. You cannot speak in a demonic environment. You can, but I mean, as far as what's around you, it has to be I'm hearing the heavenly host. The heavenly host has to be around you because it has to keep those demonic forces away from you that will try to talk to you at the same time God is talking to you and confound your speech and your mind and the things that you're trying to convey to your audience. Okay? And the devil does that to me a lot. He'll try to trip you up. He'll try to make you stutter. A lot of times when people are speaking and they're stuttering, it may not even be them. It is something trying to supernaturally twist their tongue up. I know what I'm talking about. So a lot of people may see it as, oh, that person, is fumbling all over their words. A lot of things, it's a demonic attack. I've experienced that. And I'm sure a lot of other people have too. Your tongue don't get tongue-tied till you start talking about the truth. Because the devil don't want the truth to go out. But it's going to go out. I think I did one conference one time. I don't know if I said I had a coughing. I would start coughing or something. And I think I said, I don't care if I got to cough all the way through this conference. The devil start messing with your throat. He'll start making you stutter. Your throat start getting a little tingle in it. And he'll start trying to distract you. And the phones will start ringing if you're in an environment with a telephone or anything he can do. That's the reason why when I'm teaching, it's very important that I avoid distractions because I get easily distracted when I'm teaching, and the devil knows this, and because if something takes my attention because of the flow of the knowledge, and then when I get distracted, I forget sometimes what the flow was because it was broken. So when I teach, I really have to make sure that I'm strictly focused on what I'm saying, and that I don't allow my eyes to bounce around too much as far as like dwelling on one spot for too long. I have to move around. Anyway, I'm just talking, y'all. But there's people out there that may know what I'm talking about. But anyway, I think I'm going to go and close out this conference because I see that my battery and my camera is getting low. But I hope that something that I said today has helped somebody. And I just want you to know that you keep on battling and you keep on fighting, because for those of you out there that the devil has tried to destroy, I got to tell you, he's tried to do the same thing to me too. He sent... for you young girls out there, he sent the wrong guy to me too. I'll share that with you. He definitely sent the wrong guy to me, and that person tried to kill me. That's why that person was sent to me initially, when I was your ages, when I was young, just like you girls. And like I said, I was in the category of the good girl category. But see, the devil sends those types of dudes to you to try to make you dirty, to take things from you, ladies, to try to drag your names and reputations through the mud when prior to meeting them, nobody didn't even know who you were. So now you see why the thief came, to steal and to kill and to destroy. And if you don't have somebody around you that's saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Spirit, they can't call that demon out. If you don't have fathers standing there at the front door saying, I got to check you out before you take my daughter out, then you young ladies, you're going to go with the flow. You're going to go with the flow. And a lot of you out there, you don't have fathers to do that. Many of us didn't have fathers to do that. So God has to take you up. God is Father. I believe in giving credit where credit is due. God Almighty is your Father, young lady. God Almighty is your father, young man. If your mother was promiscuous and didn't take care of you, God can be a mother to you even though he be a male deity. Meaning he can perform motherly duties for you. Comfort, compassion, love, care. All the while still being the male deity that he is. See, God is all in all. Meaning he can be anything and everything that you need him to be. Even though you may have a bone to pick with him, let me tell you something. He knows, and he even understands that. There's nothing about you that he does not understand and that he does not know. He's up on everything, and he's definitely up on game. He knows what type of bloodlines he brought you here through. And for many of you out there, he knew that that the bloodline people wouldn't like you. He knew they would be jealous of you. For a lot of you out there that are fair, and I mean attractive, for a lot of you, they didn't like you because you were attractive, or because you play sports the best, or because you were always that it guy or that it girl. That's why they don't like you. Because they would look in the mirror at themselves and knew they couldn't compare to you. And that resentment is carried on over throughout your lives until one day they decided they couldn't take it anymore. And they had to take that mask off and to be like, look, I don't care if you die. And no, I don't like you and I ain't never liked you. And for a lot of you, I don't even think if you faced that, it even caught you off guard because you knew that they hated you, but you didn't know to what extent. So the more that they hate you, the more you love yourselves. What makes their hate more valuable than your love for yourselves? And there's no deeper love than the love of God. Okay? So I'm going to go on and close this conference out because, like I said, I can only pour out to you all what's in my cup. But I hope something that I've said has shined a light in somebody's situation today. And hey, if, like I said, the stuff that I was getting today on this platform, I don't know what it is, but somehow I just ended up out here. Oh my gosh, y'all, I just started walking. It was such a beautiful day. And the next thing I knew, I'm looking around, this is a platform. And I see outlets, and there's this thing overhead with electricity and sparkly lights. I'm like, what's going on? See how sometimes you even without thinking, you just start walking and you end up somewhere. And I think that's the message for today. To just start walking blindly. Walk by faith, not by sight. And you'll end up somewhere that is spectacular, where you are the head and never the tail. Okay? So with that said, God bless you all until next time. I'll see you at the next conference. It might be out here. Bye-bye.